Xbox and Bethesda are teaming up for their very first mini showcase, not unlike the Nintendo Directs that are received with immense positivity. The showcase will occur on January 25th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and the games that will be shown are Minecraft Legends, Forza Motorsport, The Elder Scrolls Online, and Redfall. The teams behind the games will be giving us insight into the different gameplay features and mechanics we can expect to see when we get our hands on them. The big ticket item, Starfield, won't actually be shown here at this showcase, as Bethesda and Xbox will be rightfully giving that game its own showcase to allow for proper breathing room to show off the single most anticipated game of this year. In the meantime, let's dig into what exactly we'll be seeing and what we should expect to see from the very first Xbox Developer Direct. First up is The Elder Scrolls Online from ZeniMax Online Studios. Studio director Matt Fyror will unveil 2023's major chapter update, including the latest regions of Tamriel to become playable in ESO, as well as a major new feature coming in the game's biggest update this year. The Developer Direct will be immediately followed by the full, standalone ESO chapter reveal event hosted by ZeniMax Online Studios, which will provide all the in-depth details ESO players will be keen to know. I'm not a huge Elder Scrolls fan, and I haven't really dipped my toes in ESO, but I know that it has an incredibly passionate player base, and to them I say more power to you. ESO has had one of the more steady drip feeds of content over the past several years in comparison to other MMOs and live service games, and it's nice to see Bethesda continuing to support the game even after all these years. On a different note, it's been reported for a while now that ZeniMax Online Studios have been developing a brand new IP for a few years, with some saying it's a Starfield MMO to coincide with the release of the single-player BGS title, or more likely, in my opinion, is that it is something wholly unique and not at all what anyone thinks it is. It'll be interesting to see if they drop maybe a short teaser for this project during the showcase, or maybe even later this summer during the E3 conference. Next up is Forza Motorsport from Turn 10 Studios. The team at Turn 10 Studios have been hard at work bringing fans the next generation of Forza Motorsport, built from the ground up to take advantage of Xbox Series X and S. Forza Motorsport is back, and we can't wait to share more gameplay and exciting new details. Now, I'm not a racing guy, like at all, so this isn't really a game that I have any interest in, but to those of you who are excited for the next entry in the Forza series, again, I say more power to you. Afterwards, we'll see some footage from Minecraft Legends coming from Mojang Studios and Blackbird Interactive. Mojang Studios will showcase an insider's look into the PvP multiplayer experience in Minecraft Legends, the upcoming action strategy game from the makers of Minecraft. Developed in partnership with Blackbird Interactive and launching this spring, don't miss exclusive gameplay footage at the Developer Direct. Again, this is a game that I don't have a ton of interest in, although I do think the idea of taking the Minecraft universe and making a real-time strategy game out of it is really cool. We'll have to wait and see how it actually pans out, but based on what I've read elsewhere, Minecraft Dungeons, the other spin-off Minecraft title, has done really well for itself since it released, so I'm sure Legends will turn out fine. Finally, we have the game that quite frankly is the only reason I'll be tuning in for this showcase, and that is Redfall, coming from Arcane Austin. The minds behind Dishonored and Prey, Arcane Austin, will showcase several minutes of gameplay from their upcoming FPS. The Developer Direct will reveal single and multiplayer gameplay, showing more of how you and your friends will take down bloodthirsty vampires on the picturesque island of Redfall, Massachusetts. Fans can expect to learn more about combat, customization, bosses, the open world, and more. They've done a good job already setting our expectations for what we'll be seeing with the very first live gameplay for Redfall. They'll be showing us the differences between the single player and the multiplayer modes, as if you do decide to play single player when the game launches, you will be on your own, as the other characters are not AI controlled. They will simply be absent from the campaign entirely if you go solo. Alternatively, with co-op, we'll get to see some more dialogue and interplay between the characters, and maybe we'll even get a glimpse at what the trust buff can do, something that I mentioned briefly in my previous Redfall video. We'll also get a deep dive into the combat itself and see perhaps what the weapon tuning and balancing is like, in addition to how difficult the game might become when fighting the vampires, as I imagine they probably have a decently sized health bar to chip away at before you can fully finish them off. The customization aspect will largely be weapon attachments and gun crafting is my guess, but it would also be cool to see some cosmetic customization for our characters if that's a feature. Yes, it's a first-person game, but I want to make my hands look cooler when I'm shooting vampires. Boss battles will also be a thing in Redfall, and Arcane hasn't ever done any major boss encounters in previous games, so this should be interesting to see what sort of mechanics they can introduce. If we want to get technical, the Visionaries in Deathloop are technically like mini bosses, so I imagine we'll be getting something similar to that for the traditional vampire enemies. It's the higher tier vampiric creatures and their inevitable boss encounters that have me really intrigued. Lastly, and most importantly, I'd argue, is the showcase of the open world itself. Are we going to see the map of Redfall, how big it really is, and how it supposedly dwarfs Talos 1 from Prey? I sure hope so. However, I also really hope the map isn't dotted with a million different markers for outposts, collectibles, side quests, things like that. I'm not entirely opposed to map markers, but just don't clutter my screen with them like Ubisoft does. It will also be interesting to see what the topography of Redfall will be like in the open world. We know about the downtown area and the rural countryside, but what other areas might we get to see? In any case, these are the things that we should expect to see from this Developer Direct showcase and my feelings on it, but now I want to know what you think in the comments down below. Are you excited about the Developer Direct? Which of these 4 titles are you most interested to see? Or are you interested to see all of them? Sound off and let's discuss. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like on the video and share it around with other members of the Bethesda and Xbox community. It really helps to get the channel noticed. Consider subscribing to the channel for more Bethesda-focused content like this, and be sure to hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. And remember that the outsider walks among us. Thanks for watching, everyone.